Come on, BTC.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is the 22nd of October. It is 11 a.m. Central European Time, 2024. We are 2 weeks away from the election in America. Donald Trump, the orange man himself, likely to defeat Kamala Harris. Well, we've got a lot to get through today. We're not at $70,000. The question is, who is to blame? Is it Kishan? Or is it Tariq? Now, my money is on Tariq because we know he's a Litecoin maxi. So in chat today, there is a poll of who is to blame for the Bitcoin dump, and 86% have already said it's Tariq. So Tariq, when you come into chat, you'll be greeted by the fact that you are winning today's poll. We've got a lot to get through. We're going to talk a lot about the bull run. We're going to talk about staking. VanEck have launched a Solana staking product in Europe. We're going to have a little look at that. We're going to talk about the Scourge and what Vitalik has planned for Ethereum. We're going to talk about maple syrup. Now, if there was ever a really cool name for a token, it's Maple's new token, which they've called Syrup. We're going to talk about 4 airdrops in Q4, which obviously we are now in the first third of. And we're going to talk about tough justice in the UK. We're going to talk about how the financial authorities in the UK are being tough on crypto, and so they should be. We do not want any skullduggery in cryptocurrency. Tariq has arrived in chat and has, of course, voted for himself, as he should, because he is solely responsible for us not sitting at $70,000 today. Anyway, bottom left-hand corner, you can see we are 205 subscribers, followers, whatever you want to call them, away from 180,000 on our mission to get 200,000. So if you're new here, press the follow, the subscribe, whatever buttons you've got, press them. We stream every day, Monday to Friday at 11 a.m. The Oracle was going to stream last night, but his spidey senses, his crystal ball told him to wait off until tonight. Now, I don't know why. He is, of course, the Oracle. He has decided himself that tonight is the night of the stream. That means fireworks. And I'm going to show you why I think there's going to be fireworks. I'm going to show you the funding rate. I'm going to show you the liquidations. I'm going to show you where I think we're going to go, because it's certainly not down. But the Oracle is the Oracle. He'll be back at 9 tonight. So in 10 hours time, he will be streaming. That's pretty much it. A few good mornings apart from Tariq. Mags is in chat. Bullish Bull has claimed his dupe. Make sure to go and claim that. Velvet Rope, Hidden Agendas is in chat. KB is in chat. Cyberpunk Danny is in chat. Good morning to you all. let's get on with the show. Let's see what we have to talk about today. Now, sometimes I do these streams so far in advance that I have no idea what I've put into the X-Files. So it's going to be a surprise for me as much as it is for you today. What are the markets telling us? Again, volume 74 billion, below 100 billion. We're really going to see takeoff when we start to get back above 110, 120 billion. That's still a few weeks off. Market cap 2.36 trillion. Remember the times when we were below 1 trillion market cap in crypto, and I was saying we're going to go over a trillion, we're going to go over 2 trillion. Well, I think we could easily see 8 trillion in this bull run. What's that from here? A 3x. I think it's on the cards. A 4x. Is it 4x? 3.5x. I think it's on the cards depending on where we go. Bitcoin dominance, ETH dominance again hasn't really changed. No need to talk about that. Fear and greed still at 63, even though we've had a little bit of a retracement. Bitcoin is sitting at 67,000 thanks to Tariq. Ethereum is coming in just above 2,600. This light, by the way, makes it really hard to look at the screen and read. But if I don't have the light on, I look like I am some kind of prisoner of war. I'm just pale. Right then, BNB is back below $600. Solana holding up its end of the bargain. We're going to have a look at that in a bit. Gainers and losers then, what is down and what is up? Aptos up nearly 10. Uniswap is up. Helium, Axelar is up. Casper, Beam, Tron. Now then, I've made a video yesterday. I actually made it on Saturday and Sunday, but I put it out yesterday. It was about crypto scams. And it took a long time to put that video together, believe it or not. And I know retail isn't here, and I know we're not going to get thousands and thousands of people watching that video. But there's something important that you need to know. The Casper that I talk about in the video, associated with Carl the Moon, is not the same as Casper, which is the 28 ranked token. They have a different the pronunciation. It's Caster, not Casper, okay? So when you watch the video and you hear me say Caster went down 99%, whatever it might be, it's not the same coin. They do sound similar, I know, but they're not the same coin. So make sure to go watch that video. It's about crypto scams. I talk about BitBoy, I talk about Carl the Moon, I talk about Crypto, I talk about Mr. Beast, and I explain to you, and I even put a chart up on the screen, why you should never follow any celebrity, okay? It's all well and good holding meme coins, and I'm all for that. It's probably looking more than certain it's going to be a meme cycle, which again goes against every bone in my body. But being said, not all meme coins are created equally, and celebrity meme coins, there's nothing behind them apart from a celebrity. And I know that they think that they can promote these coins, but there's no substance. Communities that create meme coins have a community behind them. You can look at any Bonk, you can look at Mew, you can look at Dog with Hat. They've all got a community behind them. Celebrities are just celebrities that stand there and say, buy my coin, buy celebrity. That's it. So not all created equally, but make sure to go and check out that video. Losers then. Cat in a Dog's World has retraced a tad, but who cares? It's already up way towards 009. It's had a great run. This is a profit take. This is a good time to take profits. MOG as well. Good time to get into MOG. Look at the market cap of both sitting just below $1 billion. Very good. Theta is down. First Nero, again Aero. Second day on the trot that Nero has been on the retrace, but it's up 1,200% this year. Not too worried about that. Ondo still at 75 cents. I can't believe it's below $1. That's a really strong one for me. Yes, the tokenomics aren't there, but I don't care about tokenomics because we've got a year left of the bull run. Those tokens won't be released before I'm selling, so why should I care about the tokenomics? Dog with Hat, $2.40 is still a touch on the high side for me. I was watching another crypto YouTuber today, and he was talking about the fact that Dog with Hat is cheap. I don't think it is. I don't think it is. $4.50, I think it tops out somewhere around that. That was overly expensive. I think anything under $1.50 to $2 around then is good. Again, Sui, I've been saying don't buy Sui above $2. It's broken. $2, it's at $1.97. Wait for that to retrace. It will find a price. I don't know where that price is. Maybe 183, maybe 185, whatever it might be, 165. It will find a price and then it will go higher. It's not the end of Sui's bull run. It's just had price discovery. It's found a new all-time high. What was that? 240, 220, 225, something like that. It needs to come down. There is a profit take. Athena is down, wormhole. Again, not too much to worry too much about. I am going to keep an eye on chat as well. So if you are putting comments in, let me know. A few people have been claiming their dupe. Again, if our channel is remembered for one thing and one thing only by the end of this bull run, I would love it to be dupe, okay? Because of everything I've looked at across all the different blockchains, there are some really good projects out there. You know, there's some good projects on Sui, there's some good projects on Base, there's some good projects obviously on Solana. But for me, dupe, if they do what they want to do, which believe you me is a lot of speculation, then it's a $50 to $100 billion coin. Now, there is a long way to go to do that, and that roadmap takes it past the end of the bull run. So am I going to sell my dupe in the bull run? Yes, of course I am. I'm going to sell everything in the bull run. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to buy back in. Again, a lot of the coins I'm holding, I am not going to own in the next bull run. A lot of the coins that you love, maybe Aerodrome is a big fan, a fan of people out there. Now, Aerodrome is great because it's the single DEX. In 3 years' time, there could be 5 DEXs on Base, and each of those additional 4 will suck liquidity and suck trading volume out of Aero. And this could be, Aero could fall in value and never get back to where it was, okay? People talking about Uniswap going back to $40 or $30, whatever it might be. It didn't have as much competition as it's got today. The problem is that when you don't build in the bear market and you stick to your laurels, you don't grow. Now, Uniswap has been building, yes. It's got its own chain now, so that will be a success. Aero now has to look at, is it going to go and become a DEX on a different chain? All of that is irrelevant if we sell in October or November next year, when I think we're going to get to the end of the bull run. What we then need to do is wait a year or two for the bear market and then see what looks to be the narrative. AI, real world assets, or Jupiter, and trying to create an all-in-one. They're all things that can be even bigger in 2029. So don't marry anything you own apart from maybe Bitcoin. Okay, that's the only thing you're allowed to get engaged to, especially Tariq. I don't even think I'm going to talk to Tariq after what he did to Bitcoin last night. Right then, Cat in a Dog's World. A reminder, it hit all-time highs. Okay, I put out a video about that, very quick video about that yesterday. It is poised, but again, we have 12 months. Let's not get carried away. Where we think a lot of these coins are going to go, especially if Bitcoin breaks all-time highs and then consolidates and we have an alt run, a lot of these coins you're looking at now are going to be super cheap now compared to where they were then. But also, a lot of these coins are going to get retracements. Sui is a perfect example. People were telling you it was going to $10 when it was at $2.20. It was never going to go to $10. It was always going to retrace. But in the bull run, it could very well go to $10. Again, this gentleman here, who looks like, you know when you watch Men in Black and you've got those little aliens that control people and those people aren't real and they're just like plastic people or made of rubber, okay? He looks like he's got a little tiny alien man inside him controlling, and he's doing his best to try and get you to not buy Bitcoin. 2 weeks ago, he said it was worthless. And now he said very few transactions happen in crypto. We spoke yesterday about the fact that Sui, which isn't even a fully built out blockchain, has done 5 billion in transactions. We know Bitcoin doesn't do a lot of transactions. We know Ethereum doesn't do a lot of transactions, but the layer 2s do. And of course, the likes of Solana do loads of transactions. And they're real transactions. Yes, a lot of them are nodes talking to each other, but a lot of them are real transactions. What is he talking about? He's clearly in the same camp as Mark Cuban. Who knows what's happened to that guy for him to throw so much support behind Kamala? They must have some I don't know. I'm not going to say that. Right then, sentiment. Here are crypto's top 10 AI and big data projects by development, remember, not by market cap, not by growth. Now, this shows you the position of the different tokens based on, I think these are based on commits to GitHub, yes. So what does this mean? These are projects that are building and building and building. So what you should expect to see in here is a lot of the big projects, but also a lot of potentially the up and coming projects. Now, you're going to expect to see Near, you're going to expect to see Ocean, you're going to expect to see Potenza and even Graph. But Oasis is always up there. Ori Chain is always up there. Golem is a new entry. I haven't seen that in the top 10, and Streamer, haven't seen that in the top 10 either. So maybe they're worth going to have a look at, because if they're building and building and building, especially probably if we say Ori Chain at 5th, they're obviously building something over there. That's where you would get an indication of what could possibly have some good news coming out and possibly rip in the future. Again, I only look at 1% or even 0.5% of tokens on a weekly basis. It's impossible to keep up to date with it all, but as an indicator, if you're into AI, there's the list. Pause the stream, go and have a look at them afterwards. Go and see if you like what Golem is building or iChain, because remember, the market tends to pump just before the news is announced, not as they're building it. So you can get in now, and then when the news breaks, you sell. Buy the rumor, sell the news, or in this case, buy the development, sell the news. Now, I think this is a slight bending of the truth. It took gold 5 years to break 20 billion in inflows. Bitcoin did it in 10 months, the most successful ETF launch in history. What I would say about this is that it hasn't had inflation taken into account. Okay, the gold ETFs didn't happen last year; they happened a while ago, and as we know, the American dollar has been deflated in value by a substantial amount in that time. So I'd like to see an inflation adjusted version of this chart. I still think Bitcoin would win, however, but I think it would be a lot closer than this. If I was a gold maxi, I would be taking umbrage with this chart, because it's like saying, you know, a film that came out this year is the highest grossing film of all time. Yes, but if you adjust for inflation and you go back in time and look at the likes of Jaws, or that one with the blue lizards that was out, Avatar, you can look at them. You've got to take things into perspective of the time they were released. It's unfair to do a comparison between modern day and even something from 4 or 5 years ago, because we know inflation has stripped the dollar of about 30% of its value, if not more. Right then, again, this is another one to do with the European Central Bank. I'm not going to get political on here, because that's not what we're about. This is supposed to be an educational channel. But sometimes you have to look at what is said by the powers that be and wonder what they're talking about. Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. That is their premise. However, those who don't own it will be impoverished. Now, what this is to do with is a report that came out from the ECB that said it was unfair that people who got into Bitcoin at the very beginning are going to make so much money, okay? They have said themselves that Bitcoin is likely to go somewhere in the region of $10 million a Bitcoin in the future, okay? But it has no intrinsic value. So they're saying it's not worth anything, and on the other hand, they're saying it's going to go to $10 million. And what they're trying to do, believe it or not, is try and remove the value of the early adopters from themselves. Now, there is a law, I can't remember the name of it, but this law goes along these lines. We bought our house, let's pick a fictitious number. We bought our house 20 years ago for $200,000. Today, our house is worth $1 million, okay? So our house has gone up $800,000 in that time. If somebody comes along today to buy that house for $1 million, they're paying 5 times what we paid for the house. According to the ECB, that's unfair, and we should be punished for buying our house for $200,000, or an Apple stock or a Google stock. We shouldn't be allowed to make those profits. And what they're trying to do is work a way out to get the early founders and basically punish them for getting in early. Again, there's a thing up there. This is the ECB. 10,000 euros, not dollars, sorry, per Bitcoin is plausible. The current market value of Bitcoin is in the range of 50 to 60. It could be argued any price is plausible, including 10 million or more, as none of these prices have any economic justification on imputed basis. Now, this is, of course, the problem is when you have an asset that gets to the size that Bitcoin could potentially go to, which is people talk about gold as a good target for Bitcoin, and it is a good target. People talk about getting there. Now, gold is a universal global reserve asset, okay, as well as the US dollar. Gold is a big one. Now, if Bitcoin becomes a global reserve asset, as a lot of people think it will do in the future, Trump is going to buy 1 million Bitcoin. If Bitcoin goes along the price action that it's likely to go along in the next 20 or 30 years, it could possibly clear America's debt, or a big chunk of America's debt. So Bitcoin starts to throw the global system off kilter, because as it increases in value, you need to print more money to keep up. I'm not going to go into the politics of it, but it's a threat to the financial system. That's all you need to know. Now, we're going to switch gears, have a little look. Now, this is the liquidation heat map. $200 million liquidated, but as you can see, 180 million of those liquidations were longs. Only 30 million were short. Not a great deal. Yes. Now, this is the interesting one, which is the longs are paying the shorts. People are now expecting us to go up. One chart I don't have is the liquidity chart. Now, this has already gone up. It was 0.1 when I looked at this, when I set the stream. It's now 0.112. So this is the longs expecting the market to go long from here. Now, why is that? The chart, as I said, I don't have is the liquidity chart. And at 70 and 72,000, there is a bundle of liquidity. Imagine you've got an elastic band and you want to fire a stone, I don't know, at a squirrel, okay? What do you do with that elastic band? You pull it back before letting it go, okay? There is an argument to be said that we've pulled back to 66.8, 67, 66.2, whatever we come down to, that we've come down to that before we shoot off. The double-edged sword of this is the more people that go long, the likelier we are to have them liquidated and us come further down. That's the downside. But there is also the argument now that we're going to see a short squeeze to 70,000. And what day are we on? Tuesday. We've got all week to do this. So let's not worry too much about 67, 68, 69,000. As we said in the poll today, there is only one individual responsible for this action. Right then, let's move on to some actual news. I can't see. Actually, I should probably check chat, shouldn't I, before we go into the news. Who is here today? The claim on dupe goes directly to staking. It does. You can unstake a proportion of your dupe. So if you want to sell your allocation, go and pick the whatever 50, 100, 200 dupe that you've got, unstake it. I think it takes 30 days. Leave the rest staked. Eugene made 40% on Simon's cat. Did you take the profit? You've made unrealized 40% unless you sold it, and if you've made 40%, fantastic. They are keeping our dupe when that voting went out. You can unstake it. It becomes staking dupe. So you go in, you press unstake, and you can unstake it. It takes 30 days. Dupe is up cool. We'll give it a month. Aero will do better. Radium is doing okay. Yep. Mew is going well. I can't wait for Ponky to start flying. Added a big risk prevented to Mog. Maybe it pay off. I have got, as I've said many times, I have got a few meme coins I think are going to do exceptionally well. 3 cats. Mog, Popcat, and Mew. One, I don't even know what Brett is. Is Brett a dog? It's blue. Brett is my other one. They're my 4. Now, Giga Chad. I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm not going to talk about it. Giga Chad seems to be pumped by influencers, which makes me think that Giga Chad paid influencers to talk about it. But Giga Chad is the one that everybody is talking about. That could do well. The AI coins as well, GOAT. There's another one. Can't remember the name of it now. They're doing okay. But again, how far down the line of automating a meme coin do we want to go before we realise that it's just pointless doing it? Right, Bitcoin pulls back below 67,000. Is another crypto rally failing? Boo. There we go. Following a failed challenge of the 70,000 level during early Monday trading, did we get that high? I thought we got to about 69.5. We fell below 67. 2.3% lower over the last 24 hours. Ethereum is down 1%. Litecoin, Polkadot, and ICP are also down a little bit. A notable performer was Solana. We're going to talk about Solana in a bit. That went to 163. I'm not bothered about the 170. That was a nice test. We got above. I think my target was 174 for Solana. Well, I've got to have a look at the chart in a bit. Mining stocks suffered. Nobody cares about the mining stocks. They're going to do well long term. All of these corrections are just more opportunities for you to get in. So if you get in at 67,000 and we go to 64, get in again. If we go to 62, which is unlikely, get in again. Now, if you want to take profits on the way up, take profits about 72, 74,000. Okay, maybe we get rejected at previous all-time high, and then maybe we come down again to 68, 67, get back in again. If you want to do that, by all means. If you just want to keep dollar cost averaging into Bitcoin, by all means. And remember, there will be a point which we're approaching where buying Bitcoin is not the best option. I've been saying buy Bitcoin number one a year and a half now, but we're going to get to the point where buying Bitcoin is the wrong solution. So if Bitcoin gets to $100,000 by the end of the year, where do you realistically think we're going to go by the end of next year? 150, 140, 180? What's that 80% profit? Where you could maybe go and buy Solana, AVAX, some of the Solana-based coins, Dupe, Uniswap, all those types of exchange coins which will do well. Would it not be better buying them when they've got a chance of doing a 3, 5, 6x? I don't know. I'm going to stick buying Bitcoin until the market turns, and then I'll probably just wait. I'll probably just sit on my bags because I don't want to go in. I've already got everything that I need. I don't need to buy anything else. However, we failed at 70,000 in late July and we sunk below 52,000. I don't know whether we're going to go to 52,000. We're in the last quarter of 2024. Traditionally, we go up, so I don't think we're going to go down that far. We could go to 66. I'm going to have a look at the charts now. I did look before the stream to see if I could find a kind of a bounce level. Now remember, psychologically, very big round numbers do act as a psychological level of support and resistance. Let's wait for the chart to load. Now, again, we're back in the range. Bitcoin, I gave it a 9 out of 10 on Friday. Okay, it's now getting a 7 out of 10. We're back in the range. We got to 69.5 and we got rejected. Now, we do come down a fair old way when we get rejected. If you look at these two examples, okay? Now, you could do that. You could do that. And they pretty much take us to the same level, which is about 64,000, okay? If we continue to come down, then we've got 64,000, which I do believe, was it not the price that KB said in chat yesterday? I think he said 64.6 or something like that. So if we do pull back, we pull back to 64, 65. But the ETFs are buying, and they're still buying, and that buy pressure is kind of floating us along at the minute. Without the ETFs, we would be a lot further down than we are now. So again, where could we come down to? If we borrow this line from up here, we could come down to maybe this level here. This was the previous attempt, that's 66,000. Maybe we come down there and maybe we have a bounce. Maybe we come back and do this. But again, I think we've got a short squeeze on the horizon, and that's going to rip us up. I think we're going to go up. I don't know for a fact, but I'm more positive that we're going to go up than negative that we're going to go up. So for me, we go to 66 and we bounce. we bounce where we are now, 66.8, and we go up. I don't think we're going to come down to 60. I think the bull market support band is 62.5. I don't think we come back down there. We'd have to have some bad news. And again, why did we come down so much yesterday? The stock markets retreated a little bit yesterday and Bitcoin just followed it. That's the reason we came down. But we've still got 9 days to go of October. We've still got November, 2 really bullish months. I don't see us going to 62. I really don't. Now then, Solana for European investors. Hello, Hope. I hope you're well. Hello, Chris. Yep, 64.5. I mean, we could. That is the previous high. We could come down, find support there, and move back up. Again, I don't know if we are. The volumes of the ETFs, they're not going up, but we have really good days and then we have really bad days. We're in a bull moon, so I don't know. We've got another 10 days, I think, of up. So VanEck has introduced Solana ETN staking to European investors. Investors are automatically enrolled in the staking program when they purchase the Solana ETN, requiring no additional actions. Now, one difference between this and the Ethereum ETF, for example, because Bitcoin can't be staked, the Ethereum ETF is not allowed to be staked by the SEC. It was one of their restrictions. So all of the ETFs, all of the ETH that's going into the ETFs in America is not being staked. So for me, that's a bad thing for Ethereum because that is reducing the amount of Ethereum supporting the chain. So over time, that's a terrible thing. Think of it this way. What happens if BlackRock buys all the Ethereum? There won't be any staking. There'll be no validators with Ethereum. So this is the more logical way of doing it, which is when you buy a proof of stake asset, that proof of stake asset is staked. That's the point. Okay? They may be Irish, and I can say that with Irish blood. Gary Gensler could be Irish, okay? Because it makes no sense allowing an ETF to exist without being staked. If you look at, for example, stocks and shares, funds hold stocks that pay dividends. Those dividends are not rejected by those funds, they're accepted. Why the ETFs are not allowed to stake this room is beyond me. But I think this is the precedent here. This is what we want to see. The non-custodial staking approach ensures the investor security by keeping delegated SOL in cold storage. Remember, if you've got a ledger, for example, you can still go and stake your Cardano, you can still go and stake your Solana, and then still have it kept in cold storage. That is allowed. Investors are automatically enrolled in the ETN staking program. Rewards distributed daily, net of a 25% staking fee. That's a hefty fee. Okay? That is a hefty fee. If you think that Solana pays 6%, they are making 1.5% a year just off the staking fees. Now, what this might lead to is a free ETF where you don't pay any management fees, which is good because you're not losing any of your capital. And if then you're making a net of 4.5% a year on top of hopefully the increase in the Solana price, then it's a win for you and a win for VanEck. So maybe they're going to reduce their fees. We utilize the physical SOL held by the ETN for staking by instructing the custodian to delegate SOL to a validator. The validator node is managed by a staking provider. Very good. Now, all they would need to do is make sure that they don't stake all of their SOL with the same validator, because that would give that validator too much power, which we're going to talk about in a minute when we talk about Ethereum. We use an in-house dynamic risk model to ensure we can meet daily redemptions. Because of SOL's shorter epochs, it's actually easy to do this for SOL than ETH. Exactly. SOL is 5 days. ETH, I recently unstaked about 15 ETH, and it's taken me nothing short of about 4 or 5 weeks, and I've only got about 80% out, 85% out. So ETH is a real nightmare. That needs to be fixed. It needs to be fixed. Ethereum needs to sort that out. It's too long. Sol, 5 days. I think Cardano is also 5 days. I think 5 to 7 days is perfectly fine. I think 28 to 30 days is too excessive, and there's no need for it, in my opinion. So it's all good. We're all fairly happy with this, aren't we? This is good. You're earning yield on your Solana, which is staked, which is hopefully going to appreciate in value over time. The acid test for these ETFs is going to happen in the bear market, not now, okay? The question has to be asked, what happens when Bitcoin starts to fall 30%? So let's say we top out at 140,000 for Bitcoin. What happens when Bitcoin falls to $90,000 or $95,000? What are the ETFs going to do then? Are they just going to keep diamond handing? Are they just going to keep buying Bitcoin as it goes through the bear market? Are they just going to keep buying? Or at some point, are investors going to go, I'm down 50% in a year, I'm going to sell? We don't know the answer to that question. I think at some point in the future, we're going to see ETFs sell off. Maybe a panic sell, maybe fear, FUD will kick in. I don't know. Anyway, you can see my yellow line that I didn't draw today. This is the Darren Brown chart where I predicted the future. Okay, look at that line, 164. Where are we? We're at 164.76. I have predicted the future. I am going to challenge the Oracle to a fight with pugil sticks to take his crown. What did I want us to do? I wanted us to do exactly what we did. And what do I say? Break the bull market support band. Use it as support. Go high. What did we do? We broke the bull market support. We used it. Sorry, we broke the bull market resistance. We then used it as support, and then we went boing. And where did we go boing to? We went boing to the price. Did I pick that out of a magic crystal ball? No, I did not. I simply looked at where we've been in the past. We've also been putting in lower highs. Guess what? Not anymore. We've now put in a higher high. Bullish on Solana. Where could we go next? I think we are a long way from getting back into our trend line. So I think we need to have a crack at about 184 next. I think getting back towards that price there is the next target. Where is it? I need to get little tiny gifts for my chart. I think that's the next target, 184. I'm not saying we're going to go there today. If Bitcoin retraces, so will everything else. But I do think it's pretty good for Solana. Now, what is going to happen if Solana goes up another 10, 12%? Everything associated with Solana will pump. What does that mean? It means the likes of Jupiter, Hive, Camino Finance, the coin I've been telling you about. Since it was 3 cents, it's now 10 cents. 10 cents for Camino. I don't know why it's pumping so much. Maybe there's some news that's come out that I haven't seen, but it's all looking good. Now then, let's have a look at the chats. See what is being said. I am Nostradamus. I am Nostradamus. What's that? What was that crazy Russian called? Rasputin. I am more crazy Russian Rasputin than Nostradamus, I think. But I think I'm in need of a trim and a shave. I think that's what I need to do. That's my objective for the week. Not for today. I am 50. Things take a lot longer nowadays than they used to. I do need a haircut and a shave. Vitalik says the Scourge will tackle Ethereum's centralization threats. If you want to know where Vitalik gets his names from, it's World of Warcraft. He played a warlock in World of Warcraft. And guess what warlocks have? They have shards. Guess what Vitalik's naming convention will be for helping process transactions? It's called sharding. He is going to tackle the centralization threats with the Scourge. What was the Scourge? It was something that happened way back when, probably 10 years ago in World of Warcraft, where there was an invasion of, I don't know, zombie ghouls that attacked everything, and they were called the Scourge. So now you know. I am not just a pretty face, okay? The Scourge aims to address the issue with large entities capturing ETH staking. Again, this is the problem with this man. He is naive. He's not naive because I think it. He is naive by his actions. When you switch to proof of stake, which they did, it also becomes proof of wealth. The more Ethereum you own, the more you can stack. And the more you can stack, the more voting power you have. as a validator. You could have seen this coming 4 years ago, okay? Charles produced a proof of stake system which kind of limited the ability of validators to some extent, so much so that Vitalik is going to copy the Cardano system. The question is, was it ego that stopped Vitalik from copying it 4 years ago? Maybe. The Scourge, a key component, he posted a blog emphasizing centralization arising from economic pressures could pose a risk to proof of stake consensus mechanism. Of course it can. It's not could, it will. It's will. We've shown you, I think it was MakerDAO, have a huge whale over there that was manipulating the voting process. It happens. You're lucky if you get 60% of people to vote in a DAO. So if you've got somebody that holds 20, 25% of the supply, whatever it might be, that on a vote that where 60% of people vote means that whoever they go with, human nature will go with that decision. So if they vote first and somebody goes to the DAO to vote, they'll see 25% have voted for this option, 0 for anything else. They'll go with the flow. That's why DAOs are not the panacea. They're not the solution, because people just vote with what they see. Jupiter did a clever thing, by the way. They hid the voting, so you can't see what other people have voted for till the end. That's the right thing to do. Most DAOs should implement that, and that takes away that threat. But it's still a problem. He warned economic incentives could compel smaller validators to join staking pools over time, increasing the risk of 51% attacks, transaction censorship, and other crises. The post names large entities, the MEV extraction, increasing dominance of liquid staking token providers, Lido being the biggest, but we've talked about others on here before. Was it Eigenlayer? We've talked about EigenPi. They're all similar types of things. The Scourge is one of several components of the roadmap. These include the Surge, the Verge. Again, don't think that Ethereum at 100,000 transactions a second is going to solve the problems. It's just trying to keep up with the layer 2s. The faster Ethereum is, the faster layer 2s can apply their transactions. That's all. Block verification, they've talked about reducing the number of validations for the blocks. They've talked about increasing block sizes. They've done lots of other things. But at the end of the day, this is always going to be a problem that they are chasing. Okay? The problem is that over time, BlackRock is going to own a lot of Bitcoin, and BlackRock is going to own a lot of Ethereum. Now, look at what BlackRock does when it owns Ethereum. Owns a large share of a company. What does it do? It will go in and it will replace the CEO with somebody that they want. They will change the strategy of the company. Okay? It is documented. There are plenty of other examples of companies where BlackRock have got a seat on the board and they've made changes to suit BlackRock. If you think crypto is any different, then you are as naive as Vitalik, because the end game for BlackRock is to control Bitcoin, control Ethereum, and control any other crypto asset associated with it. By Halloween, they will have 1 million Bitcoin in 11 months. That is 5% of the total supply that will ever exist, because 1 million has gone with Satoshi. So they will own 1 in 20 Bitcoin within a year. What happens when they own 5 million Bitcoin and 25% of the supply? Do you honestly think they're not going to try and change Bitcoin? And for those of you out there that don't know this, there is a possibility in the future that Bitcoin could be hard forked and turned into proof of stake. It could have its maximum supply changed. All of those things are possible, even remote as possible that they are. But the bigger possibility is a hard fork. And that hard fork would create Bitcoin proof of work, Bitcoin proof of stake. For example, that would then give BlackRock control of Bitcoin. Ethereum is already proof of stake. They haven't really turned their attention to it yet because they're focusing on Bitcoin. Now, if they control a huge chunk of Bitcoin and Ethereum, guess what? That's 71% of crypto that they control. There's only 29% left. They don't really probably care about a lot of that because they're going to build up Ethereum to be their TradFi solution. They're going to know that Bitcoin is the store of wealth. They're going to try and control that. Don't think they're in it for the good of crypto. They're in it for the good of themselves. And that might sound incredibly tinfoil hattish, but they've done it before. It's not like I'm making this stuff up. They go into a company, replace the board, get the direction of the company to go in the direction that they want, and they use your money to do it. Now then, Ethereum got rejected at the bull market support band. That was my yellow line. So Nostradamus has been stripped. My title has gone. I am no longer the predictor of the future, because instead of bouncing and moving higher, we have bounced and been rejected and come back down. Now then, does it really matter in the long run? No. Where could we come down to? 2,470 is a target for me. I still think Ethereum is at a good price. I made that video 4, 5, 6 months ago where I said my two bottoms for Ethereum are 2,900, 2,600. And as you can see, we came a lot lower, okay? But Grayscale didn't help. Now, we're at the bottom of the two prices for me. I think 2,900, 2,600, they're both the bottoms for me for Ethereum. I think the noise has gone away from Ethereum. I think Grayscale hasn't helped. But don't forget, it's still second top dog. And Solana's got to absolutely bust its guts to get there. So I think it's still a good buy. I think it's, if we're at $9,000 or $10,000 this time next year, and you bought Ethereum at 2,600, you've 4x'd, 400% in a year. Now, I'm not saying it's going to 10,000, maybe it goes to 8. You've still 3x'd your money in a year. It's not a bad bet at all. Now then, my favorite token name of the week goes to Maple Finance for preparing the Syrup token launch. Now then, don't forget, by the way, if you are in chat, to smash the like button. We have got so many people in chat and we've got 7 likes, which means there's people watching us that haven't found the like button. It's a thumb. Click it, or it's a heart. Whatever it is. Heart. Press that. I could start doing all of these kind of things on the stream and people think I've got some kind of connection to a non-existent group of people, but I'm not going to do that. Right then, Maple Finance prepares for the Syrup token launch. The Syrup token will be officially released on November the 13th. How do we get our greedy little sticky hands on Syrup then? Maple token holders will be able to convert their Maple tokens into staked Syrup to earn rewards and generate yield. 1 Maple will convert to 100 Syrup. The Syrup holders will earn additional tokens for the first 90 days, and fee revenue generated by both Maple and Syrup will be used for Syrup buybacks, which will serve as part of the emissions distributions. The launch of Syrup token and Syrup staking catalyzes the growth of the wider Maple ecosystem. I do like Maple Finance, by the way. The team's pioneer product, Maple Finance, has been on a tear over the last 6 months. Total value is $500 million. And there we go. That is the TVL, which is pretty decent. Now, of course, don't forget that October 2023 was the start of the pre-halving bull run. So you can see it pretty much aligns with that. You best, getting in July would have been great. I only reviewed Maple probably in November. The growth has been catalyzed by the launch of Syrup, which has got 200 million of the TVL after a gated launch. Again, I would subtract that from the TVL. Remember FTX? The value of their assets was based on the FTT token. The FTT token collapsed. They thought they had no money. It all went west. They collapsed. Sam Bankman-Fried is with P. Diddy. He's literally with P. Diddy right now. All because they had their assets backed by their own native token. I look at projects based on the value of assets outside of the native token, because the native token can go to zero. So they've got $300 million, not $500 million, in my opinion. That's the way I would value it. So again, if you're into Maple Finance, your token is going to be changed for Syrup. Make sure to bring jars to collect your Syrup. And of course, you're going to start getting staking rewards, which is what we're all here for. Remember staking rewards. There's two ways to look at this. If you've got a token, if you've got 100 tokens and you don't stake, and that does a 10% staking rewards, they emit 10% of the tokens every year. So if you don't stake, the value of your 100 tokens at the end of year one is really 90 tokens worth of value, because they've put 10% extra tokens into supply. This is how, I don't want to subscribe. This is how, over time, the dollar, the pound, the euro goes down in value, because they print and print and print. They keep inflation to 2.5% so you don't notice, but over 40 years, your currency's down by 100%. Now, if you stake your Maple tokens, and let's say they're worth $100, in a year's time, you, all things being equal, will have 110 Maple, or sorry, syrup tokens, and they'll still be worth $100. So staking them, if the value of the token simply follows the trend of the circulating supply, then the value of your token shouldn't change. So staking it just holds the value of your token. Don't look at it as additional rewards as such on these size of tokens anyway. Bitcoin, or sorry, not Bitcoin, Ethereum, maybe you could see it as a bit different. But staking for me isn't about getting additional rewards as such. It's about holding the value of your token. Right then, airdrops. Who doesn't love a good airdrop? Now, most of these are probably unclaimable now, but we're going to go through. Super Oracles is airdropping free Super tokens after the snapshot on October the 21st, which was yesterday. They raised $26.5 million, and they got it raised by different people. Users who did simple airdrop tasks, including participating in the campaign, can now see their eligible tokens. I haven't done this. I hope you have. Now, Scroll is one that's been airdropped to people. I think the token went live at 11. I probably can go look at the price now, see what we are. Good morning, Seller Sky. Welcome to the stream. So, Scroll is now live. Again, what do I do with the majority of my airdrop tokens? The majority of them, I sell. Okay, I get rid of them. I did get some deep at 3 cents, and it ran up to 9 cents yesterday, day before. That's been the only one I've held in ages. I did hold a little bit of Egan Pie, I think, as well, but not a lot. So, Scroll, 23% get the team. Oh yeah, this is the one where everyone's kicking off about the airdrop. They gave a small amount of the airdrop to their community and a bigger airdrop to the exchanges they airdropped it on. So they're a bit annoyed with people. 1 billion tokens will be available, 15% allocated to the airdrop. So again, if you've got that, again, not financial advice, you do what you want. I'm going to sell any token that I get, probably from now on, unless it's an absolute corker. I'm probably just going to convert it into a higher cap token. At the minute, I think I've got a couple of ton as well that I've kept. I think I might convert it to ton or Sol or something like that. Eclipse, the first Ethereum Layer 2 solution powered by the Solana virtual machine, has raised 65 million from investors. So users will be able to mint NFTs as the project's official becomes operational. Participants must add the Eclipse network to their wallets before minting the NFTs, and that will cost you whatever that is, $4, something like that. Aptos is another one. 51% of tokens allocated to community rewards. Airdrop comes a celebration of their second anniversary. 2 years if you're here. You're early to celebrate the second anniversary. Available for a limited time again, more airdrops. If you're in any of them, then they're all going to be happening now or thereabout. Now, I've got to 11:52, and we've made it to the last article. We've looked at the Bitcoin chart, the Ethereum chart, and the Solana chart. We've not done bad today. Remember, we only try and do this in an hour. We are not here to run for 2.5 hours in a marathon. It's supposed to be an hour. Everything that I can find that I think you need to know, I do in an hour. That's it. Now then, this is a big one for me because regulation, adoption, and interoperability are the three pillars of the crypto warehouse roadmap for crypto to be a success. It used to be adoption and regulation. We've now moved on because crypto has progressed to adoption. We've just mentioned there about a Solana, an SVM being connected to an Ethereum layer 2, again, or an Ethereum layer 2 connected to SVM, whatever it might be. Again, we want interoperability between chains, it's key. But this is so important. I cannot tell you. I am old. I remember the internet before regulation. It was awful, okay? Now, there's a lot of different ways you can put through regulation. You can enforce it through the courts. You can fine people. You can use it as preventative measures. You can use it as a threat to bad actors. There's loads of ways you can do it, okay? America, under Gary Gensler, has gone down the route of litigation. That's entirely his decision. He's the head of the SEC. Do I agree with it? No. It's not my job. It's his job. The FCA in the UK have basically taken a hard but fair line. Now, again, they already have a hard but fair line in crypto, okay? They already have it in financial services. They already have it with the Advertising Standards Agency. They have it. But why is it important? Because if you have a regulated industry, at some point in the future, you will fall under a government guarantee scheme. At the minute, I think it's £175,000 or £125,000 you are insured. If something really bad happens, the government will basically give you the money. If we want crypto to be adopted, we want the crypto assets wrapped up in these ETNs and ETFs to be part of the guarantee scheme. And to do that, we need regulations. And those regulations say, if you fall out of line, we're going to come down and knock a ton of bricks. If you stay in line, then we will allow you to join the guarantee scheme. And then part of that means we have full-on adoption in the UK, and everywhere else will follow, okay? The UK's approach could stunt innovation and impact the position as a global financial centre. We never turn applications down out of hand. We treat the risk of firms being used for money laundering extremely seriously. Allowing illicit money to flow freely can destroy lives. Terrorism, I can't say some of these words, and we don't want that to happen. If you don't agree with regulations because you are an anarchist or whatever else it might be with, the world would go into anarchy without regulations. And your mum and your gran gets protected by these. So your time to shine with Bitcoin and everything else is now, okay? In 5 or 6 years' time, this is going to be a toy of the big boys, and you have to understand that, okay? Bitcoin is going to get to a market cap where it will be just another financial instrument, a store of wealth like gold. That's the way it's going. But for it to be like gold, it has to have regulations which allow it to join the gang. That's simply how it is. Reports show that registrations for crypto asset exchanges and custodian wallets with the FCA have dropped by 50% over the last 3 years. The reason is, and I'm going to defend the FCA here, way back when, probably a year or two ago, they had 56 applications. Then it was announced that 48 of them had failed. Oh, the FCA, they've turned everybody down. They're being mean. They're being just another British Gary Gensler in a bowler hat. No. Of the 48 that were turned down, I think something like 44 or 45 of them, they had their applications and they pulled them. So the FCA only rejected about 3 and they approved about 8. Okay? Now that is a 3 in 4 chance really of getting approved. But the metrics were that they were rejecting 90%, when in fact they were approving 75%. If you go and apply and say, I want to set up a crypto exchange, and the FCA turn around and said, we've got to do all of this, can you do it? And you say, actually, you know what, I don't think we're going to apply now, and withdraw your application. Who do you think is in the wrong? Do you think it's the exchange? Or do you think it's the FCA? Of course it's the exchange. If they're not going by the book. Do we want money laundering? No. Do we want nefarious actors to be able to use crypto for their nefarious goods? Of course we don't. That's why there always has to be a compromise. Always has to be a compromise in life. And that is very simple. We shouldn't have privacy coins and we shouldn't have turbo cash. Okay? We have to find a balance. And that balance is that absolute anonymity has to go, because you can't have it. We don't want things to go on that 95% of the world don't want. So to do that, we need these rules and we need to abide by them. That is it, okay? You're already on an exchange. You've already done your KYC. You've already handed over your details to show who you are, where you live. This is no different. This is no different. But as time goes on, some of these rules will become stricter and stricter. Like if you're starting to send hundreds of thousands of dollars through an exchange, they're going to ask you where it's coming from. That doesn't really apply right now, but I think in the future it will. Right then, we are at 11:59. We have got through the show pretty much. Let's go and have a very quick look at the Bitcoin price. We might have to start sticking in one more article. If we're finishing on time every day, I think we should go for another article, or maybe not another article. Maybe I'll try and pick something every day to show you. Maybe a coin that I found. If I can find a coin, maybe I'll stick that in every day just to show you something different. Right, we're coming in at, what are we, 66? Well, we're holding, let's go to the 4 hour actually. Yeah, we seem to be holding quite well at that level. So if you want some hopium, there's your hopium right there. That seems to be your line. Okay, we're stuck in that little channel. Happy days. I think we're going to go back up to 69.5 today. That's it. We've done. We are at what time now? We are at exactly 12 o'clock. We have done it. Thank you, everybody. Now, one last thing. In fact, before we go, give me 1 second. I'm going to say goodbye to a few streams, but before you go, don't go anywhere. Let's kill that one. Let's kill that one. Okay, so before we go, I want to tell you to go and watch this video because it's important, not because I want the clicks. Okay? This is my, we'll have a final thought. We've got a conclusion, we've got time. Okay, so I have made this video here. Okay, I'm not going to play it on the stream, don't worry, it's not going to happen. Okay, now in this video, let's actually get it off the advert because it makes it look like I'm advertising smart and I've no idea what that is. Okay, right, in this video, I look at influencers who have created projects, and I've also included a list of the worst, well, not list of the worst, a list of all of the tokens shilled by influencers. Okay, they're all down 95 to 99%. In this video, I go over a different type of project. I go over Carl the Moon, I go over Crypto, I go over BitBoy Crypto, who 2 days ago, he pulled all liquidity from Ben Token. Maybe he didn't do it, but somebody did, so that token's been rugged. I also talk about Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast has made $10 million from talking about crypto projects, and they all rally around each other. And Ben will say, oh, well, he's not done anything illegal. The article that I include clearly states that he's not done anything illegal. I have included 2 excerpts from the UK and America showing that everything they've done is illegal. Okay, everything they've done is illegal. And Kim Kardashian, Tom Brady, Shaquille O'Neal, they're already getting in trouble for these things. So if you see a face of somebody that you know telling you about their own token, okay? Telling you that this token is going to be a success, this token is the next greatest thing. They're lying. And if they're not lying, they don't know that what they're saying is going to get them into trouble. So anybody, any famous person, anywhere, at any point in the next 12 months tells you to buy a token, you ignore them, okay? As I've said in this video, which I'm not going to go through in a great depth, but at the very end of this video, I include a list of what tokens. Caitlyn Jenner, I include Doja Cat, I include, can't read this from here, Sexy Red, 50 Cent, Trippy Red. Look at the right hand side, 98.77% to 99.98% down, okay? You need to watch that video because you will understand why I am so against celebrities telling you what to do. They are celebrities for either having a good voice or being a good actor. Now, if they're a good actor and they're telling you to buy a coin and you go and buy it, would you go and throw a ring into the fire of Mount Doom? Would you think you could fly around and be Superman? No, of course you can't. Don't think these coins are going to go up 5,000% either. I can't find many examples, if any, of a celebrity's coin ripping to the upside. They just don't exist. So do me a favor, go and watch that video. It's only about 15 minutes long. Yeah, 14, 15 minutes long. Go watch that video. That's all I've got to say on the matter. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You are all legends. And no, Mags, I didn't stop. I stopped the stream. Basically, we multi-stream on different exchanges. And I turned 2 of them off. So now I am only on Binance and YouTube. That's it. So I'm telling you about this because I can't talk about this anywhere else. Anyway, thank you, Tariq. Oh, by the way, the poll, before we go, let's see. 18 votes. Is that all? 18 votes. Tariq is 83% responsible for Bitcoin crashing yesterday. 83% responsible. Now, if we pump to 69,000 today, is Tariq going to be responsible for that pump? I would say so, Tariq. Thank you, everybody. Take care. I will see you all tomorrow. The Oracle is back in 9 hours. He's streaming tonight. It's already in the calendar on YouTube. It's already in the calendar on Binance. If you're not following us on YouTube, go and follow us on YouTube. We're Crypto Warehouse. We stream every day on Binance, Monday to Friday, 11 a.m. We do 2 trading streams on Binance, Mondays and Thursdays. This week, it'll probably be Tuesdays and Fridays. And we stream on YouTube. So with all that being said, thank you, everybody. See you, KB, Chris, Tariq, Mags, everybody. Thank you.